in the dead of night. I hear them whisper, shadows dance on walls growing crisper. Echoes of the past, they start to rise, monsters lurking deep beneath the skies. Fear grips my heart. I can't escape, bump in the night, where the fears collide. Monsters awaken, nowhere to hide. Shadows are calling, they beckoning near. In the dance of the dark, I feel no fear. Moonlight reveals the horrors unseen. Whispers of darkness haunting my dream. Figures that twist in the corners of sight. I shiver alone in the grip of the night. Creatures of shadow come out to play.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Saturday edition of the Paranormal Coffee Talk. I'm Nighthawk. We got Eric patiently waiting. I'm going to get through the disclaimer, and then we're going to get into our subject matter. Good to see you, Demaria, Urso, Scott, Carl, everybody in the chat. Thank you for being here. We are going to have a subject matter today, starting off with Thunderbirds, of all things, and I'll explain why after I do the disclaimer. Anyways, the copyright disclaimer is this channel may use some copyrighted material without specific authorization of the owner, but contends that it falls under the Fair Use, which is the Copyright Act of 1976. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, it makes allowances for fair use for purposes such as criticism, commentary, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, research, parody, and entertainment value, which is all covered under the Fair Use, otherwise known as the Copyright Act of 1976. Furthermore, we use the Donna app for all of our intro and outro videos and music, which means the music we have full rights to on the channel. So no more copyright strikes on that. David, good to see you. All right, well, we're going to get into it. I'm going to take this stuff off of here, and I'm going to put up a pretty picture for you guys, and then I'm going to let Eric explain what happened to him around his home the other night when he had a thunderstorm roll through. So today's topic is going to be about, just like I said, Thunderbirds starting off, okay? And we'll see where it goes from there, okay? But here's a couple pictures that I had found about the recent thunderstorm in the Midwest, too, out by Eric, that was taken. And I thought they were pretty fascinating. And I did the reverse image search on them, and I checked them out. And the quality seems to be there. And it's not CGI, and it's not AI, as far as I can tell. But it's inconclusive 100%. So anything is possible in today's world. But here's the pictures I'm talking about. And tell me if you think that could possibly be the Thunderbird. Looks like it to me. What do you think, Eric?
Oh, that's what I thought automatically. I thought it was that was my first response. Hey, it's a Thunderbird.
And here's the second one.
And that's what I saw the other night.
And they've been talking about how these thunderstorms have gotten a lot more violent lately, and now they're showing more flashes of blues and purples and green hues now in the storms instead of the yellows and the orange and the red and all that. It's more of a earth tone colors, which is kind of ironic if you think about it.
Yeah. John Aside thinks it's a dragon. V Team says it's interesting. David says that's wild. Yeah, it's not popping up there like we thought it would.
I'm seeing it.
No, yeah, just not as big as I thought it would. Yeah, I can see it down in that corner. Hey, heifer. Uh, yeah, I mean that stuff blew my mind. Definitely looks like a huge bird flying. Yeah, my first thought was Thunderbird right off the bat. It's the glasses and the flakes of things dumped in the air, changing the color. Gases. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm awake, Carl, somewhat. Yeah, that's about all I can say on that. I'm multitasking at the moment. Oh, excuse me. Hmm.
And I found the perfect picture, everybody, for Eric this morning. So I'm going to put
Yeah.
that up real quick. You know, we were talking about him possibly having the cat medicine, you know, last night on the channel. And I think I found the perfect picture to sum Eric up here with his spiritual medicine animals. Okay. So here you go. I want you to all take a look at this. This is fantastic.
I am cat. Hear me meow. Hey, Jordan. That's just funny right there. It's amazing what you can do with pictures nowadays.
And they're even
The
fluffy.
rain. Yeah. I'm sorry, guys. That came on me quick. The rain both fall on the good and the evil alike. The tornado done twist the righteous and the wicked alike. Yeah. My day off and my dogs woke me up at 5:30. Oh wow. Yeah, that purple lightning's what I seen the other night, last weekend before I went live. You know, I was sitting out on my front porch, and all of a sudden, a big long streak of purple lightning shot across the sky.
Hey, Griff, good to see you in there, buddy. David, Roxanne, good to see
Kyle,
you.
yeah, I
Yeah.
need coffee too.
Jonah Side, good to see you. All
Yeah,
right,
man, my
good. We
damn.
got quite the chat going. Anyways, have you ever seen anything like that in your sky out there? Because that picture was supposedly from the Midwest section of the United States. Hey, this heifer.
Man, so I've not seen the Thunderbird in it, but I've seen that purple lightning. And that purple lightning on that second pick is very close to what I saw. That blew my mind when you had it up there because it was like, that is what I saw. Francis loving his view from heaven, purple lightning. Yeah. Yeah, instead of purple rain, it's purple lightning. Yeah, Jordan. Yeah, yeah. It was wicked because that was the first time I've ever seen purple lightning. Um, Here, I mean, we just get usual lightning is what we always get, and it was only that one time.
Hmm.
Ooh,
If you're
excuse me.
gonna
It was
keep
only at one
yawning,
time
man,
that one purple.
if you're gonna keep yawning, I'm gonna freaking end this program because I'm falling asleep.
Oh, man, it keeps hitting me. Uh, it just it.
Oh, great. Where'd you go? Well, we lost Eric, everybody. We lost Eric. So, I don't know what's going on, but we lost Eric. Anyways, Daryl, good to see you. Kyle, good to see you. I said hello, but I got walked over there a second. This Heifer, good to see you. Jordan, good to see you. And Jordan, I got to ask, what's with Douse, the talking like you're old world, man? That's pretty cool. Douse does protest too much. All right, Thunderbird. I'm going to put those pictures back up, guys. I thought it was pretty amazing. Like I said, I couldn't find out anything as far as CGI or AI on this photograph whatsoever. That's not to say that it's not just some type of freaking weird anomaly. I mean, we see them all the time now, apparently. But with the follow-up picture that was taken about, probably I think it was about 10, 15 seconds after the first one, it shows a completely different lightning strike with the same shadowy type of a figure a little further away in distance, and it looks like the wings are in a down swooping position. I don't know. It's amazing to think that somebody got this captured. It really is. So let me fix my camera, guys. All right. No, well, that's good enough, I guess. All right. Man, this technology's going crap today, guys. Hold on. Something has control of my mouse, my cursor. That is weird. Eric looks like he's coming back on, so we'll see if his computer's acting up too.
Damn, that was weird. I just got booted and it took me forever. I had to log out of everything and log back in.
Yeah, and that's I just had some weird stuff happen to me just now too with my cursor, my mouse actually doing its own thing. Literally. I mean, literally moving around the entire computer screen on its own.
That's why I went back to one that's got a cord on it, because that wireless one,
dude, I have a
doing
cord
that to me all the time. Oh, no shit.
Yeah, I have a cord, and it still does it.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, it was weird, man. I was sitting there laughing, all of a sudden, poof, I'm gone.
Yeah, something's going on. They just don't want the subject matter talked about, apparently. So if I can get this camera situated, I'd be happy. Man.
What the?
Oh, now my screen just went black. Are you kidding me?
There we go. What the hell is going on? Was that just me, or is that?
My screen just went completely black. I'm gonna give it I'm gonna give it a few seconds and see what happens. Last time I waited about there's back up now. That is too freaking weird. That shouldn't be happening. That should not be happening.
Oh, what? Irritating. Daryl said, "Yeah, your internet stopped." I came up. Hey, Camo.
11:11. Yep. Camo Dad, good to see you.
I have no idea. Could the lightning be opening up a glimpse of another worldly dimension for a brief moment to see these images? Possibly.
It could, yeah, I mean, anything's possible, David. I just, I don't know. I'm just blown away because that's pretty clear and concise evidence right there that what people have been claiming to be the Thunderbird, every now and then it is actually showing up. Um, I can't say that I've actually seen the Thunderbird myself. I've heard it. I felt the wind of its wings. I did see a, and ironically, David, this was down by you guys, down by where you all live. Um, we were parked right there at. I was waiting for Tracy to come out of. I think it was the Walmart down there, and just something told me to look off to the field behind Walmart and off to the north of it. And there was a flock of turkey vultures. They're pretty big turkey vultures, to say the least. But then there was one amongst them that was the size of a Cessna single-engine airplane. So, and it was a turkey vulture. So, wow. Yeah, and that was sometime, what, 2 years ago, something like that I saw that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it was in the daylight, broad daylight. It was probably like 3 o'clock in the afternoon or somewhere around there. So during the summer. So I can't say I haven't seen something weird like that in the sky. But that's the first and only time. Other than that, I've felt it, like at night when I'm out, doing fires and stuff, and I feel this strong gust of wind that comes from above me and not coming at me, you know what I mean? Not directional towards me, but coming from above down, like it's flapping its wings, and you're getting that downdraft. So, stuff like that. But yeah, I thought that picture was amazing. What about you, Eric?
Oh yeah, it's definitely fascinating. Scott says I've read that there was solar flares going on. Yeah, doesn't surprise me. Maureen, yeah, kick it. Thunderbird is a cryptid, not just a cheap booze.
It's also an automobile, and it's also a motel.
And a song. But,
Yeah.
It's. I knew that blew my mind, man. I've seen a lot of bizarre stuff around this world, but that was, last weekend was the first time I seen purple lightning. And then you showed the pics, I went, holy crap. Because that second one was a lot like what I saw. Very much a lot like what I saw.
And they are literally reporting that these thunderstorms are a lot more intense wise, but yet they're showing more glimpses of purple and blue and green hues, almost like the aurora borealis. So you have to think, whatever they're doing to the stratosphere or the ionosphere, whatever they're doing up there, might be affecting these thunderstorms and what we're seeing too. So
yeah,
it almost reminds me, you remember the stories of Vietnam where they first started testing out those glasses to see at night, the night vision for the first time, and they saw the demons flying at them, attacking them, that they couldn't see without the devices on. It almost reminds me of that same thing, but in reverse. Now we're able to see it because they're doing something to the sky.
Yeah. I mean, is it the drop of the veil? Very well could be the drop of the veil. Is it, is it something supernatural going on? Which I guess technically dropping of the veil is supernatural. So, I mean, that's also a possibility. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I didn't see a figure. It was pitch black when this happened. I didn't see a figure, but I didn't really get a really good look at it. I mean, it was just quick, bam, right there. Last time I was in
Yep.
Florida, I kept hearing random thunder. Although it didn't storm during my trip to the Gulf of America. Oh, that's wow, wow.
And that's
You
what
know,
that's that's normal reporting when it comes to weird stuff happening. People are,
mhm,
it's like that's the sonic booms everybody was hearing a while back, and still, hearing them periodically. Those loud
mhm,
cracks and booms. It sounds like somebody's dropping a 20-ton bowling ball on a floor, you know. So I don't know, man.
hey
There's all
Michelle,
kinds of weird stuff happening. How we doing, Michelle?
I get I get random booms all the time, but I don't live too far from a quarry. I mean, I live within 10, 15 miles of a quarry. So I always chalked it up to that. I've had times where their explosions went off at the quarry and it's literally knocked me backwards in my fat guy comfy chair.
Fat guy comfy chair.
Yeah, that's what I call it, man. That thing gets comfy.
Oh God.
Uh, yeah, it's blown my mind. I mean, I've had it like it's I've literally had them go off where the windows shook in my trailer, and I could feel my trailer be picked up, and I was knocked back. And
Hmm.
that was quarries that was 10, 15 miles away. So that's what I always chalked it up to. But now that I think about it, I mean, that's kind of far away for a percussion to be hitting like that.
Right. Unless it's a freaking
Yeah.
missile.
Yeah. Roxanne, when I was little, I heard sonic booms in the northern part of Missouri. Yeah. I mean, we hear them every now and then. I'm in within 1 mile of a quarry and it shakes the house. Yeah. I'm 15 miles away, man.
Well, you guys are in the middle of a freaking, heavily seismic area, which could be a reason for the booms that you're hearing.
Oh yeah, I mean, this quite a few years ago. I mean, this was probably, I'd say somewhere around 10 years ago. We was down in Pineville, my uncle's cabin, and I was asleep upstairs in the bed. Mom and the girls were downstairs, and I got woken up to my bed shaking, and I thought it was the girls that came up there to play with me. I was like, "Oh, come on, stop it! I want some more sleep." I look around, there was nobody there. Come find out, Oklahoma had an earthquake, and we felt the aftermath of it.
Huh.
Yeah. So I mean, and you got to think too. I mean, the largest fault in the world runs through Missouri. And the last time it went off, it ran the Mississippi backwards for 3 days and rang the bells in Maine. My dad used to tell me it was God showing he was angry with what the world was turning into. What the hell? Wow, Roxanne. I guess that's one way to look at it, man.
Yep. The devil and
I
the Lord were
love
having a bowling ball match, and
Eric, we would feel it in Joplin. The earthquake in Oklahoma scared me the first time I felt it. Yeah, New Madrid. Yes, Scott. We live on the New Madrid. Yeah, the New Madrid fault line. Yes, absolutely. Um, yeah, it's supposedly well overdue going off again. So I
yeah.
don't know. It's of course they're talking about if it goes off this time. Man, there's going to be a lot of destruction, a lot worse than what went off last time.
Mm-hmm.
We get little tremors here and there, but nothing. I mean, most of the time you can't even feel it, or you don't even register it because it's so minute.
Well, let me ask you this, though. I mean, I don't know how anybody else in the chat feels this morning about this, but what if what if our world was literally being ripped apart
Hmm.
by something? And I don't want to make it sound like it's, God, the creator, doing it, or the devil or anything, but just take for instance, some of the old legends of the Bible and stuff with like the Leviathan and stuff like that. What do you think the possibilities could be that a creature bigger than Godzilla in the movies could exist?
It's definitely possible. I mean, we know less about the ocean than we do the galaxy.
Okay, let
There's
me
part.
ask you this one then, a follow up question on that, everybody. Um, what if what if we found out that our specific geographical region was literally the ground zero for the Garden of Eden, and that
Hmm.
the Mississippi River might be the river of the Bible, that the Euphrates River comes through, and all that. That the basically the biblical prophecy of the four horsemen are underneath the river, which would make Mississippi the Euphrates. What if all that
I mean,
tremor activity is caused by that?
I've heard of that same theory. Um, there's a lot of evidence to show that the true Egypt, the true Garden of Eden, and all that is actually here in the United States. I haven't. I'm not 100% on that bandwagon yet, but I am also at that point that I admit a lot of the evidence that they're showing, a lot of their past history they're trying to keep hidden from us, would suggest that it's a very good likelihood. And you
Well,
got to think about this as well. You got you when
here,
you
here's
you know
here's here's a few other things though to coincide with that theory. Um,
Mhm.
the Euphrates is said to have a starting point with multiple rivers, and they don't have the exact number of rivers for the starting point for the headwaters, but yet the Mississippi
Mhm.
River does. Okay.
Mhm.
Also, if you go back and you look at your ancient history, the only place in the world to get gopher wood that the ark was built from is from the Georgia, Florida area of the world. That's
Mhm.
the only place on earth that it grows. Okay.
Mhm.
Gopher wood. Don't figure. And on top of that, the mounds. Think of all the thousands upon thousands of mounds. Egypt and the Middle East
Mhm.
is supposed to be renowned for their mound building. The United
Mhm.
States quadruples the amount of mounds that Egypt and the Middle East has combined.
And we got a lot of pyramids.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and think about this as well. What was known as the five civilized tribes of the native people. When you do a DNA test on them, and when Cherokee is one of the five civilized tribes, they all had Jewish DNA in them. And there's a thing
Mm-hmm.
called the Cherokee cross. And when white man came over and discovered the Cherokee bowed to the cross. They knew what the cross was. And some of their language is very almost Jewish like, but they
Yeah.
knew of Christ. They knew of the cross. So the lost civilized tribe of Judah, or the lost tribe of Judah, it's looking like the five civilized native tribes are actually probably the lost tribe of Judah.
Yeah, and not only that though, when you compare the actual languages and the way that Native Americans read language, they read it the same way that the Israelis and the Jewish uh, religion also would read
Mhm.
it. It's more of a left to
Oh, yeah.
right, kind of a reading. So instead of a right to left,
It's
I
almost
mean a
like
right.
that's why they tried to wipe them out, is because they were trying to hide the truth so that the church can have control and say, this is how this is. They don't want it known. Hey, hey, it's not quite what we said it was.
Yeah.
I may be stretching it, or scratching it, or I may be scraping for straws on that one, but it kind of fits. Why else would you wipe a whole civilization out? If you're trying to hide something, they've done it, God, countless times. You know,
Yeah.
look at all the civilizations around the world. The church is wiped out. You
And you
know,
talk about, like we talked about last night with the Nephilim and Nephilim spirit,
mm-hmm.
you find more legends of giants in America than you do over in the Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying,
You do.
you know, just putting it out there,
Yeah.
guys.
Hey, Rhonda. Yeah, I mean it, and it's so. I mean, we have covered this. Hey, Juno, we have covered this many
You know,
times. Look how much ancient Egypt stuff is here in the United States. Um, you just covered it, mounds, pyramids. Um, the list goes on and on and on of everything that fits the old biblical text of Eden and Egypt and all that being here. It just that's why. Is the coffee done? Is it? Can you get me a cup before you leave, real quick? Where I don't where my glass I think is on my end table. Thank you. Sorry, guys. Hey, Ida. Um, uh, you know, Bucky. Hello, buddy. It's you're being a pain in the butt today, bud. I don't know what your issue is. You're very needy today. Um, so I mean, that's why I'm kind of on that theory. Is kind of why I'm on that is because a lot of that evidence supports this theory. Now, for me, it's still a theory. I'm not. I've got a foot on it. We'll just put it that way. I've got 1 foot on that side of the line, saying this is a very good possibility. Look at, I think, what in the United States they've discovered what 2 Sphinx-like structures, if I remember correctly. I know one's in the Grand Canyon. I was thinking they had another one somewhere else they found. Two
yeah,
Sphinx-like structures.
yeah. And there's pyramids all over the United States and Alaska too, and parts of Canada. So, and then you
Yeah,
got the
I
Mayan
mean,
pyramids in Georgia. So, I mean,
yeah,
I
we
don't
got
know.
pyramids all over here in Europe.
Just it makes
I
sense to
forgot.
me that I don't know. I don't know. I'm not. I don't know. I don't know what to think about that whole theory. I really don't.
I don't either. I mean, but I have to give it credit. It has some credibility to it. It really has credibility. There's the giant. There's that big old rock wall that goes across California. I think it's California if I remember correctly. I mean, this rock wall. They have no explanation for it. A lot of the rocks don't even come from that area, and it's very much like the Great Wall of China, and it's sitting there in California.
Yeah, but it's only
I
about
think
3 feet tall, though. It's not as big as the Wall of China. And in fact,
no, but
if I recall, they did some investigating on it, and geologists figured out that it was constructed by the Chinese immigrants that helped build the Intercontinental Railroad across the United
hmm.
States, and that's
Oh,
why
I
there
didn't
was
hear
so
that
much.
part.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what they say. Now, whether it's true or not is a whole nother story. So
Right? Yeah, it was. I just remember a lot of the rocks that they found in it. They couldn't find there in California. But I mean, we're
exactly.
finding structures like this all over. They say the native people wasn't smart enough to build rock structures, so we don't know where. I mean, because we're finding not just walls, but buildings, mounds, pyramids, and all this stuff from rock that supposedly the native people were not intelligent enough to build something like that. Well, yeah, you're full of crap. They were probably more intelligent than we are right now.
Well, shit.
They were more
Native
in
people
tune.
and native people had a lot more technology than what science is giving them credit for too. Because just look at South America with the Mayan and the Aztec. Hell, they had running water.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
they had the most intricate irrigation systems for crops that you could ever find around the
Yeah.
entire world at that time, in that time frame. So, they had buildings that were astrologically lined up precise
Mhm.
to certain periods of the year and times of the year and star clusters and all that. So,
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't
See,
believe you basically
hey,
crap in
Brandon.
one hand and you wish in the other, and you get what the government gives you and science tells you that's true. You know, that's pretty much what you get. So,
So, riddle me this. This is how my brain goes. Why would the native people build a permanent structure unless it was a place to worship when they're nomadic? So you're going to tell me they're not smart enough to do it because they don't live in permanent structures. They were nomadic. How are you
yeah.
going to move a permanent structure? You can't.
Well,
So it makes sense if a
I
native.
think that's a cluster statement, though, that science made, because not all tribes were nomadic. Only a very few of us were nomadic. Probably quarter to maybe 25 to 30% of the population in North America was nomadic. And that's only because we
Mm,
followed the game, the buffalo, you know. So, and we had our winter encampment places and we had our summer encampment places. So
mhm.
yeah, I mean that's why we were nomadic. So summer
Right.
hunting grounds, winter hunting grounds.
Yeah.
So I don't put a whole lot of faith in what science and what history scholars
Exactly.
make the past out to be. I really don't, especially when it comes to our people. The indigenous
And
cultures.
that's why I made that statement is you can't say they didn't build stuff like that because you would have places that was very sacred.
Hmm.
And so if you want something there, you would put something permanent there. That way you can always go back to that location. So don't
Yep.
tell me they weren't smart enough. That's just I'm sorry. Hey
Yep.
Joanne. I've fought that theory since I was knee high to a grasshopper's ass, because I just I've always questioned what mainstream tried to teach me because I was like, it doesn't make sense. It really does not make sense at all. They knew more about medicines, and we're not just talking about native people, we're talking about our ancient ancestors around the globe. They knew about medicines, they knew about a lot of this. You didn't have the sicknesses that you had until the church got involved. What was Rome famous for doing? Calling people pagans and primitive and saying that they were no good and trying to annihilate them to establish civilization. What did Rome turn into and what started doing it after that? I'm not going to say the name, but there's a certain organization that did it right after Rome fell, shortly after Rome fell.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Freemasons are to blame.
Oh God, yeah, there's always Freemasons. Oh my gosh. Yeah. No,
Uh,
it's this is when you stop thinking the way they want you to think, and you start opening your eyes. Um, Things really pop out at you and go, huh, that's why it don't make sense. Roxanne, I wasn't going to say it, but yes, I won't pop that up because I've said it too much. But yes, and Roxanne, you're exactly what I was thinking. But it's comical on that, and that's why I stress to people all the time is don't learn the history that was taught to you. Learn the true history. Because when you learn the true history, you're going to be amazed at the accomplishments, the stuff they were able to do. I mean, it strikes you. I mean, perfect example. How can somebody with a chisel and a brass hammer sculpt something perfectly smooth? They can't do it. There's no way they could do it. And they can't do it. I mean, one block it would take to build a pyramid of Giza would take them a year at least to get it carved out, not counting smoothed down so it could fit perfectly. They had machinery. And they're finally starting to come out and talk about, hey, yeah, we found this. They actually did have uh, diamond coated saw blades to cut these stones.
Well, let me ask you this then. What's everybody's theory on how the pyramids were built? Were they built by giants? Were they built by frequency and vibration? Were they built by an alien race that had technology? Were they built by slave Egyptians? I mean,
So slave Egyptians, no. I've thrown that out for years. There's just nothing that fits that. Now I've got pictures of stuff from inside the pyramids showing giants building these pyramids, but it also shows frequency being used as well because it wasn't just the giants; it was the humans as well, and they couldn't lift the thing like the giants can. So I think it's a combination of both giants and frequency. Is my theory on it, just because that's what you see inside the pyramids.
okay, we have
Sorry.
all of the above. Oh, hold on. Now I got to
Hmm.
find that again. Dang it.
Oh, yeah, I had
We
it
had
just
all
added
of
up
the
there.
above.
Yeah.
We have all of the above. Okay. We have my guess is aliens. And then we have fallen angels, which is a good one. And we have this heifer says giants, sons of
Hmm.
God with frequency. All right. Let me see. Uh, hey, Bounty. Bigger humans and sounds. Okay. David. David always starts off good. They were not smart enough. Can't
Yeah.
build a 10 by 10 square. Yeah, they certainly couldn't figure out how much a cubit was, huh? Oh man.
Okay, so I got a
Uh,
couple of pictures here um, that kind of shows you what I'm talking about. I'm trying to get them to load up. My computer's being really slow. And these were given to me by Jesus Payon Jr. because I was looking for him during the show. He's like, I got them. I said, oh, you got them? He goes, yeah. I said, yeah, yeah, yeah. Send them to me. Because I was trying to find them. And so he sent them over to me. If I can get my computer to do what I wanted to do instead of being slow as hell again. Come on,
yeah.
you stupid.
Daryl says all of the above.
Yeah.
Yeah, Coral Castle is a fascinating place, Maureen. It really is. Um, they have, I don't know if anybody knows this, but in the center of Coral Castle, they have I think I want to say 2 ton. It's a big round um, marble looking piece of rose quartz that's suspended in water on like it's like hydroplaning and rotating on a bowl of water, and it's huge. It's like probably 4 feet in diameter. It's just huge, and it's just suspended off of like this little bit of water that is circulated through this stone bowl, and it keeps moving, clockwise on itself, rotating, continuously because of the water. But you would think that, with all the violent storms and stuff that is in that part of Florida with the hurricanes and everything, that rose quartz ball, marble, whatever the heck you want to call it, huge ass marble, would somehow roll out of its placement, but it never does. There's some kind of an energy holding that thing down on the water there when it's not even touching the stone below it. It's
Yeah.
amazing. It really is.
Silver City's got one too. All right. Finally got one of
Hey,
them.
Cryptid.
So hey, Jessica. These are pictures from inside of a pyramid, one of the pyramids. So here's the first one. If it'll pop up, let me enlarge this here. Well, maybe. What? You're not gonna let me enlarge? Stupid computer. Hold on. I gotta let it catch up to what I want to do. Stupid computer.
All right.
Anyways, you can see these things as tall as giraffes. Okay, this is taken from inside of a pyramid. Okay, you can see the Egyptian wear on these giant beings. Here's a human next to a giraffe, and here's these things next to a giraffe. I mean, it shows you how tall. So if we're going to go off of these things are roughly 15, 16 foot tall. Going off of this picture here, I can't remember how tall a giraffe is. And then let me get this other picture loaded up. And this is a picture of them actually carrying the blocks. Uh, okay. It's starting to go quicker than what it was. Now, this is also from inside of the pyramid, and you can see these guys carrying the blocks. Now, look at the size of this block compared to the size of these, supposed Egyptians. These things were giants. Them blocks are 4 foot tall. So you got 1, 2, 3, which is 12 foot, 4, which is 16
So
foot.
you might as well you might as well say that the pyramids were built by the Nephilim.
Or a
Because
giant race.
well, I mean, at them times they were called Nephilim. But because I'm a firm believer that those pyramids and the Sphinx and stuff were there long before the Egyptian culture came along and inhabited the area. I think they acquired it just like every other civilization has acquired a lot of the old architecture around the world.
Yes.
I mean, take Tartaria, for example, and the Isle of Mu, I mean, there's all kinds of civilizations, Atlantis, all kinds of civilizations that have crumbled and disappeared, and humanity has just moved in and taken it over like they built it and they didn't, so.
And we see that often. We see that quite often. So I mean, it makes you kind of question it. What are you and me have talked about this countless times about how mud fossils. This is in the mud fossil category. Civilizations are built on the dust and bones of the previous civilizations, and look how much stuff is being found underneath the earth that's older than anything else we know. That's mankind. We're finding previous buildings. They're finally. I've seen a deal the other day. Dang it! I seen a deal the other day with this new thing that came out by, I think it was Trump, that the Smithsonian had to finally expose the stuff they've been hiding, and they openly admitted to destroying thousands upon thousands of giant remains.
Yeah, I mean, we all knew that.
No, yeah, and that's what I said. I was like, we've been saying that for years.
Yeah, we're the crazy ones.
Yeah, the sad thing about it being a conspiracy theorist is, eventually you run out of conspiracy theories. Oh, thank you, Michelle. Yeah. Thank you, Michelle. Your giraffes are 16 foot to 20 foot tall. So there you go. That shows you how big these things were. And these were paintings from inside of the pyramids, folks. These are things that if you go into areas that you're not technically supposed to go into, you're going to see a lot more than what they show you. You know,
Hmm.
so it's interesting. I mean, look at the evidence. The Sphinx that we know of, not just the ones here in the United States, but the one that we grew up thinking of, has been shown to have been altered. That was not the original face of the Sphinx. It was altered. Not just the nose broke off. It was altered.
Right.
And it's even shown to be older than most what we call human civilization. So, uh, because it's okay. So, on that question, Marlene, this is just my theory, my opinion, my hypothesis. It's the best way to control people. If you control their history, you control their religion, you control everything about them, then you have control of them. And that's why I think it's being done is they're hiding the true history of Earth for control. That's just my opinion on it. I don't know what you think, William.
Yeah, I mean, there can be any number of reasons why they're. I mean, they have lied to us our entire lives. So I mean, nothing surprises me anymore when it comes to places like the Smithsonian or even our own government, for that matter, NASA, DARPA.
Mm,
All these agencies around the world. And around America. Nothing surprises me whatsoever. They lie to us all the time. We're even religious groups and organizations, lie to us. Okay,
mm,
about certain facts. Just, I mean, perfect example is like I've always said. Just look at how they tore the Bible apart. Ripped it apart and made
mhm,
it to where they wanted it to assume be more like a, how do I want to say it, more like a real flesh and blood God, you know, that is in charge. And all the old missing books and stuff, and the apocrypha, and a lot of the other Sumerian tablets, the copper scrolls, and all that, they all say they all say the name of the Creator, God. They all call it the Source. Okay, it's called the Source because
mhm,
the Creator, it wasn't a distinction between male and female in that time. So he was
mhm,
called the Source. Okay, and we use the term he as basically just a descriptive thing because the male, I don't, spiritual medicine, I guess, is how you would put it. Um,
mhm,
so I mean, if they're willing to misquote and rearrange things in religious ancient texts and stuff, then that tells me that they're willing to lie to humanity all the time. Okay, not just back then. So, and it's always
mhm,
seems to be the same 100 families that are in charge. Okay, throughout history. Okay, and just like we always say that it's the old same old Roman army, when we
mhm,
deal with certain subjects. There are certain families, certain bloodlines and families that are pretty much the overseers. They're called different names. They're called, you know, by their family names: the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, you know, they're also called the Bilderberg Foundation. They're also called Bohemian Grove. They're also called the Cheneys, the Obamas, the Clintons. They're also called Hollywood famous people. Um, but at the same time, they're also called archons. in some of the religions, and they're basically the ones that are told by the evilness of the world, the darkness of the world that controls this world currently,
Mm-hmm.
how to run things. And it's just like I said, it's the same 100 families, 100 bloodlines, you know, from the royal family in the UK to the royal family in other countries. Okay, so you can see it throughout. You don't even have to go by the history books to even spot it. You can literally look on Google Earth and just take a sky shot of, say, Africa, okay, or the Middle
Uh-huh.
East, and you can literally see where thousands of years ago atomic bombs were dropped in those areas. And how many times I know when I was over in the sandbox, I would put my hand down in the sand and you'd pull up little round little particles
Mm-hmm.
of glass. Now, glass
Mm-hmm.
will melt into little beads like that over 3,000 degrees. And the only thing to hit that kind of temperature would be a thermonuclear device, plain and simple.
Yeah.
So back in those days, they had that technology. So here we come along and we just inherit the lands and stuff and all the ancient buildings, and we lie about it because those same
Yeah.
100 families are the ones that are still in control throughout history, and they constantly lie about it. They control Smithsonian, they control DARPA, they control the military industrial complex, they control the
Mm-hmm.
Fed, they control BlackRock, they control the world religions. I mean, if we were to expose them, societies as a whole would completely collapse. That's how deep and dark it goes. Plain and simple.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Dan, good to see you in here.
Yeah. Hey, Dan. Yeah. So I mean, and and I agree. I mean, and that's why I'm kind of the way that I am. But I've always been that way. There's nothing new about that for me. I've always questioned things that makes I question the Bible. I question teachings. I question everything.
Yeah,
It's just I've always been that, and I'm still that way. You
yeah,
know, it could aggravate the shit out of people, but I don't care. I'm not here for other people's fillers. I'm here to learn. I'm here to
yeah,
learn about things and pass it on. You know, if I hurt some feelers along the way, then I hurt some feelers along the way. Yeah, I was reading that earlier. Yeah, yeah, question everything. Yeah, and that's the thing. And and I've done the same thing Dan was talking about there. I've looked upon the Earth from Google Maps, and there's amazing what you can see. There is so much stuff that you don't realize, and that ain't counting the stuff they got scrubbed away that you can't see. But it's
exactly.
it's all about it's
And
all
just
about.
just think about the amount of cover up and corruption that's going on that we don't know about. Everybody's
Oh yeah.
freaking out about, oh, this UFO disclosure in DC is a big thing now, and they're being so honest and truthful. Bullshit. They're not being honest and truthful. They're not in the least bit
Yeah.
worried about what you know about UFOs and UAPs, people. They don't care. Okay.
Hmm.
85% of the freaking things in the sky are shit that we have that that the society as a whole doesn't have
Hmm.
any comprehension of, that it's ours. You know, I mean, I'm
Hmm.
sorry to put it that way, but it's the truth. It is literally the truth. When I was in the 80s and stuff, it was like shit. The shit we had back then would blow your mind. Okay, and here we are, what, 40 years later almost, and
Hmm.
It's like people don't, they hold so much information from us that
Mm-hmm.
we don't know about. That, I mean, we are literally hundreds of years behind in technology, what you see today, driving on the
Yeah.
streets and flying in the air, okay, that we know of, that we know is ours, okay? But I guarantee 85 to 90% of the shit that's up there that you don't know about is
Oh
ours too.
yeah.
It's ours too. Okay. And they've been doing this shit to us for thousands of years. They don't care. It's the
Yeah.
same 100 families that control
Yeah.
everything materialistic in this world, everything warring in this world, everything's, everything that humanity needs to survive on, they control. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't give a shit what we know.
No. And you know what makes me happy is I see more every day. I get up and I get a little smile because I see more and more people waking up, more and more people seeing through the bullshit, more and more people stretching for the truth. I see it every day, and I'm like, people are finally getting out of the mainstream. This is what happened, and don't question me because I'm an expert. I hate that term expert. The only thing I'm an expert on is taking a poop, you know? And even then, I question it sometimes. There ain't no experts. Just, I hate that. But that's what they shove down your throat. They shove it on the news. They shove it on the or on the. They shove it on the boob tube. They shove it on the radio. They shove it on the internet. They shove it on everything. Expert. Man, quit. Just quit. When I start hearing somebody say I'm an expert, that tells me you're indoctrinated and you're probably paid to give misinformation. That's my opinion.
Mm.
I mean, if I heard some feelers on it, so let it be. I heard some feelers on it, but it's the dang truth. My grandpa said it best, son. You're going to learn something new every day of your life until the day you die, and even then, you learn something new. So you're always learning. It's like that comment I made last night. How can you learn if your glass is already full? Hey, Amy, you know, you can't.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
This wooden chair is getting hard on my exterior, especially after the long night we had last night.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and I still didn't go to bed right off the bat. But man, I felt like a butt because I was like, oh crap, overslept. I was like, girls, get up. I gotta get you to work. She's like, why? Or I was like, girls, get up. I overslept. And they're like, why? It's like, well, I gotta get you to work. Dad, we don't work today. We work tomorrow. I went, oh, never mind. Go back to bed.
Hmm.
Oh man. So you know, eh, I don't know. And what's great is my youngest daughter has really took this lesson to heart. She's like think now so she's interesting. I get a kick out of her because there's a lot of things she goes, Dad, that don't make sense. But some things she goes, well, this is why I believe this way. I said, honey, stop and listen to your words. How does that make sense? So she's like on the crossroads of yeah, she likes to use her brain and go, wait, that don't make sense. But sometimes she's like, well, this is what I heard, and so this is why I believe. I'm like, oh my God, kid, I love you to death, but you are so walking the middle line.
Yeah,
it's funny.
it's going to be something when they actually divulge everything they've been hiding from humanity all these years, all these hundreds, if not thousands of years. So, and I don't
Yeah,
think that day's
yeah,
ever going to come. Unfortunately, I really don't.
yeah. I mean, I don't think it will, but I still have hope.
Yeah.
You know, I get a kick out of my oldest daughter. I love my girls are they're my world. They're my everything. Everything I do for my girls. And but my oldest is so mainstream, like so mainstream. Every now and then she'll get a hint of, Dad, this don't make sense. Can you explain this to me? And I'll explain it to her. She'll say, that makes sense. But 98% of the time, so mainstream. I was like, you are your mama's daughter. I
Yeah.
love
Yeah.
her to death, though. Yeah. But I get a kick out of it every now and then because she finally. So this is amazing. This is both a proud moment, but I think it scared the hell out of her at the same time. She finally was able to tap into things that I've been able to do for a while. And yes, you can to a degree. Seeing things and noticing things that other people can't. So
Yeah.
she called me up one day. He's like, Dad, why is this happening? What's going on? What is this? So I had to break it down. I was like, this is actually a great moment for you, honey, because you're finally tapping into your abilities. This is awesome, you know. So I told her, and I was like, now, you know, told her how to do it. And I was like, I didn't have a teacher, you know, you got questions, come to me. I'll walk you through how to do it. You know, I said, because, you know, this gift can be a curse if you use it wrong. So I get a kick out of her because she's not like it. Jessica and Erica are polar opposites. I mean, they are night and day difference between each other. So, but I think she's so scared, like she's like trying to ignore it now because she's like, it's happening. I was like, I've been telling you for years, honey. You know, so it's hilarious. But at the same time, when I think about that, I'm like, you know, that is how most of this civilization is nowadays. How my oldest daughter is very much how this civilization is now. They see things and they know things, and it scares them because it doesn't fit with what they grew up knowing. So they try to tune it out because it doesn't fit in the perfect little bubble. Um, oh, okay, bro. Uh,
Yeah. I'm not
and
doing
that,
good right now. Right now, the whole room is just doing this,
ooh,
and I'm not doing good right now. I don't know if I'm having the vertigo issue because of the cancer or not, but something's happening right now. Um,
mm,
yeah, I think I'm gonna have to end this pretty soon. I'm gonna
okay,
step out backstage and let you talk for a little bit, tell them what you got going on and all that. And honestly, if I feel like this in the morning, we probably won't have a show in the morning. So if you can, please share this out, like it, and you know, subscribe to the channel, or at least check your subscription and your notification bell. And
hmm,
yeah, I'm even having a hard time breathing right now. I'm
ooh,
gonna
yeah,
step backstage for a minute, guys.
yeah, go for it. So tonight we have campfire chats at 5 o'clock Central Standard Time. That's a safe place for you to come and share your encounters. If you want to come on, I'll bring you on. If you just want to talk about it in chat, we'll talk about it in chat. Tomorrow, I've got Jessica Jones, the Cryptid Huntress herself, coming on with me, and we're going to be talking about energies and the uses of energies and how we use energies and how energies are tied together. And that'll be to Sunday night at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time. I'm actually working on the commercial now. I was doing that up until a little bit after we went live, trying to get things caught up on it because I'm a little behind. So we got that going on. I've done some writing for my IHNR readers. I've got some writing done on Cody Barrett. I need to get that book out. I've been working on that book for way too long. So that is my Western that I've been working on, Cody Barrett, the start of a legend. And we're just now, I think I'm on chapter 7, where you're starting to see how Cody Barrett becomes the start of a legend. So that is that is yes, Sunday 6 p.m., Saturday at 5 p.m. Amy. Saturdays is campfire chats, basically where we just kind of talk and share our encounters, just like we're sitting around a campfire talking. So that is tonight at 5, and then tomorrow is the actual Bizarre and the Unknown. I got to figure out the name of that. I mean, it's dealing with energy, so I'm trying to come up with a title name for that show, but that will be tomorrow at 6. And that'll be at the Bizarre and the Unknown. If you find that logo, you found me.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I got some work to do. I got some other things I got to do today too. So it's going to be another busy day like yesterday.
Well, everybody, hopefully we'll have a show tomorrow. I might not, though, the way I'm feeling right now. It just really hit me bad. I don't know if it's a spiritual, supernatural attack or what, or if it's the cancer right now. But right now, the whole world is spinning. If you can, like I said, check to make sure you're subscribed to the channel. And question everything, everybody. You know, you have that right. And if there's one thing that everybody remembers about me, it's that I say question everything, because that's the only way you're going to get the truth in life, is if you question it yourself. So do your own research. And I want to thank the mods for being here and everybody in the chat. You're fantastic. Love you guys to death. And if I don't see everybody tomorrow morning, I'll try to make it into the chat for Eric's show tomorrow, depending on how I feel. And Edna, good to see you. It's been rough. Okay. I'm just drawing a blank right now. That's how tired I am too. I think exhaustion's setting in. But anyways, Friday night at 11 p.m. again next week, we'll be coming back on with another conspiracy theory and mysterious stuff. You all know how that goes. So I might, if I feel up to it sometime next week, I might do another music thing for an hour where we just come on and we play music and we talk about a couple things, and that's about it. Other than that, I'll see everybody Friday night at 11 p.m. Eastern. So take care, everybody.
Peace, love, and blessings, everyone.
And pay attention to some of these closing credits, because a lot of this is announcements for upcoming events around the United States for Bigfoot and paranormal stuff. So here we go.
In the twilight, whispers flow. Through the foliage, fears will grow. Eyes in shadows, watching close. A heavy weight, the silent ghost. Echoes haunting, screams in the night. Bigfoot lurking, just out of sight. Bigfoot watches, shadows breathe. In the silence we're deceived. A cry for help, a fleeting plea. He's the sentinel, forever free. On ridge lines, the wind will wail. Stories told of those who pale, staring long, a curse bestowed in the realm where legends go. Amongst the trees, he reigns supreme, an apex beast in a twilight dream. Bigfoot ashes